So in last class, we discussed about what mean by optimization process or optimization problem, and what are the different parts that exist in an optimization problem, like objective function, decision variable, constraints, that is the inequality constraints, equality constraints, and the boundaries or limit for the decision variables we discussed. As well as we are trying to classify the optimization problem as linear optimization problem and non-linear optimization problem. And how the linear optimization problem looks like, that also we discussed in the last class. And I have taken a small example that you are able to see in front of the screen. A chocolate manufacturing company, a problem related to the chocolate manufacturing company we discussed in the last class. And after completely understand the problem, and we trying to develop a mathematical modeling for this optimization problem. So what is that mathematical modeling of the optimization problem is, so there is a, so once again I want to repeat that question, and later we will move to the coding part. So once that coding is completed, then we will move to the non-linear optimization problem. So either chocolate problem, a chocolate manufacturing company, they are producing type A chocolate and type B chocolate. To manufacture each type A, type B, this is the limit. That means for 1 unit of A type chocolate, we require 1 unit of milk and 3 units of chocolate. And to produce B type chocolate, they require 1 unit of milk and 2 units of chocolate. The company kitchen has the total 5 milk units are there, and 12 chocolate units are there. So maximum number of milk units are available are 5, and maximum number of chocolate units are available are 12 in the manufactured company's kitchen. On each sale of company, profit is 6 rupees for the A type chocolate and 5 rupees for the B type chocolate. And their main goal is maximize profit. So you have to identify number of A type chocolate, number of B type chocolate. So you have to give a solution such that you have to give a solution to the manufacturing company saying that this number of A type chocolates and this number of B type chocolates, if the company produces, they will get the maximum profit. Let's assume that is a variable now, that is a decision variable. So where A represents number of A type chocolates, B represent number of B type chocolates. So I have to calculate what is the value of A and what is the value of B. Let's assume as of now it is a variable. Let's assume if A number of chocolates are produced by and B number of chocolates are produced, then what would be the profit? So my profit equal to
6A plus 5B.
Yes, it is a 6A plus 5B, and you are going to maximize it. You are going to maximize it. And coming to the constraints, So this see, so for 1 unit of A, 1 unit of milk. For B units of A, 1 unit of B, you require 1 unit of milk. So for A units of A chocolate, you require how many units of milk? A units of milk plus B units of milk for the B type chocolate. That must be less than or equal to total number of units that are available for the milk. That is equal to 5. Similarly, in this case, for 1 unit of A, you require 3 units of chocolate. But to make A units of chocolates, how many units of chocolate required? 3A. Plus, for 1 unit of B, you require 2 units of chocolate. For B units of B, you require 2B chocolates. So how many chocolate plants are available? Units are available, that is the 12. So that must be less than or equal to 12. So these two are called as the inequality constraints. These two are called as the inequality constraints. Now finally coming to the boundaries. So we are going to calculate how many number of A units we have to produce, how many number of B units we have to produce. That must be a positive number. So definitely the variables A comma B must be greater than or equal to 0. So maybe you can suggest no units of B you have to produce, or no units of A you can produce, that you can suggest as a 0, but not as a negative number. So this is the complete mathematical modeling. Now what you have to do? So you have to form a matrix. You have to form a objective function matrix, and you have to form a coefficient matrix for the inequality constraints, and also you have to form a boundaries. So in Python, we are using a method called linprog, and this method was developed to solve the linear optimization problem where objective function is a minimization, So for that, this method was actually developed. But here our problem is a maximization problem. So first of all, you have to convert into a minimization problem. That means, so minimize minus profit. That means minimization of negative value, nothing but it will become a maximization. So minimize minus profit, that's equal to minus 6a minus 5b. Now you have to consider this object function, not this one. Both are same. So maximization of profit is nothing but the minimization of minus profit. Both are same. So now you have to form the matrix. So you can form this equation in the matrix form like minus 6 minus 5, and the variables are a and b. So this is the objective function matrix, and you can form this also in the matrix form. How we can form it in the matrix form? I want to form it as a coefficient of A is 1, coefficient of B is 1, coefficient of A is 3, coefficient of B is 2, multiplied by units A comma B less than or equal. These are the variables less than or equal to 5 and 12. So you can get the same value now. Yeah, 5 and 12. See, 1 into A plus 1 into B, A plus B less than or equal to 12. This one. 3 into A, 3A plus 2B less than or equal to 12. Sorry, it is a 5, it is a 12. So just I am forming these equations into the matrix form. So now I want to call it as a coefficient matrix A for an inequality constraint. And this is the constant matrix which is represented with a B with inequality. You can give any variable name. So this is a constant matrix and this is a coefficient matrix you have to develop separately. So once you are forming the mathematical model based on the available problem statement, then you are going to the implementation part. Then you can go to the implementation part. Okay. So for the implementation, generally I am using the, so you can use anything. So generally I am using the cloud computing. I'm using the Google Colab for the Python implementations. So you may go with any other solution, no issues. So I'm using the Google Colab environment, cloud computing environment. Why I am using the Google Colab cloud computing environment is generally I'm giving the different work. I'm connecting the different workshops. So when I'm connecting the workshops, participants are able to access my code. So for that purpose, I am using the Google Colab. No need to carry my laptop wherever I go. Just I'm entering. I'm joining into the Google account and open my Google Colab, and I will share all that codes with the participants. That's one of the reason. And second reason is I'm not worried about the installation environment, all those things. So everything will be taken care by the Google Colab cloud environment. So that's why I'm going with the Google Colab. But you can prefer your choice. You can install Anaconda or any other Python IDs on in your computer. You can work on it. Not an issue. The environment is not an issue. You can use any other environment as well. So you can type Colab. So click on the Google Colab, and it will ask for your. First of all, I want to sign out from all. Yeah. So type Colab in Google search. Sorry, Colab in the Google search. Now it will ask to sign in. So you can sign in with your any Gmail account. You can sign in with your any Gmail account. Any Gmail account you can sign in. Okay, so I am using my one of the Gmail account, dr.weaver.research. So just log in into Google Colab using any of your Google account, Gmail account. Okay, now what next we have to do is just click on outside, go to File, click on New Notebook. Now it will open a Python Jupyter notebook. So in that Jupyter notebook, you can write your coding. So here you can write your coding. So you can give some name. You can give some name like linear optimization. This is the name of the file, Jupyter notebook file, linear optimization. Okay. Now I want to start the implementation of this problem. So first of all, I have to import linprog function or method. I have to import linprog function or method. So you have to import that linprog function or method from scipy dot optimize import. What I have to import in this, we have available the linprog method. So linprog method you have to import. So this is the cell where you can write your Python code. This is the cell where you can write your Python code. You can write a code or you can write some text information also. Okay. Now, if you want to implement whether this statement is right or wrong, just click here to execute it. Yeah, fine. So if it throw any error, it will be marked with the red color and you can show the error here in the down. If nothing is available means it's everything's fine. Once you imported the linprog method into this environment, then what we have to do is you have to create a variable. That variable holds your objective function matrix. That variable should hold your objective function matrix. That means I am creating a variable obj, some variable, you can give any name. I am giving the variable name as obj. That's equal to, I am creating a matrix that holds your objective function coefficients. So what are my objective function coefficients? Anyone can please tell? What are my objective function coefficients?
6a plus 5b.
Yeah, that is the complete equation. So first we see what I told in the previous class, that is first we are collecting the requirements of your client and you have prepared a text document and you are giving the text document to the employees and the programmers. They will develop the mathematical modeling, and after developing the mathematical modeling, you have to split all the matrices. So what is the object function matrices? Object
-6 -5.
Perfect. It is a just -6 comma -5. So you have to. So this is the only in our how we can solve the linear programming, linear optimization problem in the Python. I am explaining now. So already you have a objective function matrix. So you have to hold that matrix with some variable called obj. You can use any variable name. So you can use any variable name. You can use O, you can use B, you can use J, or whatever may be, you can give anything. So that's it. So just I am holding so that obj is a variable which holds that objective function coefficients matrix. So after that, what are the other two matrices we have? One is the coefficient matrix, coefficients of your inequality constraints, and another is the constants of your inequality constraints. So now coming to I want to create one more variable. I want to create one more variable to hold the coefficients of inequality constraint equations. We have two inequality constraints, and there is one matrix which holds coefficients of the inequality constraints. So that I want to do. So A underscore IEQ. That is just I'm preparing AX equal to B. See, so this is the inequality constraint matrix. I'm converting it to the AX less than or equal to B. Ax less than or equal to b. In that format I have created. Now I want to store this matrix and also this matrix. This coefficient matrix as well as the constant matrix I have to store for a variable with a variable. So that's what I am doing here. So A underscore IEQ is a variable which holds the coefficients of an inequality constant equation. So what are the coefficients here? First row is a 1 1. First row is a 1 1. So you can see. So each row you have to separate with the square brackets. So this is the C, observe 1 comma 1. So this is the first row. Next comma. Now take the second row. What is the second row?
3 comma 2.
3 comma 2. Good. It's a 3 comma 2. So hold here 3 comma 2. That's it. So now A underscore IEQ is a variable which holds the coefficients of inequality constant equations. Coefficients available in the inequality constant equations. That's it. Now coming to the constant matrix, I am representing the B for the inequality constraints. That's equal to, we have, what are the matrix here? 5 and 12. 5. So now you can take 5 comma 12. Only two values, 5 comma 12 you can take. So these are the coefficient matrix and this is the constant matrix, and these two are related to your inequality constraints, and this is related to your objective function. That's it. So after that, you have to give boundaries for your two variables. How many variables we have? We have the two variables, right? For the two variables, you have to give the boundaries. So you can give one more variable. That variable will hold the information about the boundaries, limits of your decision variables, limits of your decision variables. So that is, you can give any variable name. I am writing boundary. That's equal to, it's a variable name. You can give any name. That's equal to, within the square bracket. So two variables, right? For first variable A, what is the lower limit? 0. For first variable A, 0, comma, it may be greater than equal to, it may be up to infinity. Whatever, we don't know. We can't limit it. We don't know the solution, right? We don't know the solution. We can't limit it. That's why I am writing the float value, float of infinite, INF. That represents the infinite number. This represents the infinite number. I can't restrict to 10, 20, 30. I don't know the space. So I want it will be in the mathematical mode itself. I'm representing A comma B greater than or equal to 0. If it's greater than or equal to 0, what it will be? I don't know. So just I'm defining as infinity. Similarly, so a comma. Similarly, for the B also same thing will be valid. B means the number of units for the B type chocolate. Of units for the B type chocolate. So this is the for the A type, and this is the for the B type limits. Small a, small b limits. So you can use the comment here. We can use the comment line in the Python by using the symbol #. So this is the limits for A and B. Limits for A and B. There is the comment means this section will not be executed. It is the comment line for only understanding purpose. So similarly, you can write a comment line here as well. Objective function matrix. So this is the inequality constraints coefficient matrix, and this is the, so it is a comments line, just a comments line. But to make understand what is happening in each line, the inequality constraints, it is a constant matrix. Once we defined all the things, now you have to call this linprog function or linprog method. So it will result in the solution. You have to hold that solution, hold those values. So I'm creating one variable called OPT. That is a variable. You can give any name. It will hold the returns coming by this function or method. This function or method will give some values, some outputs. That outputs will be held by this variable OPT. You can give any variable name. That's equal to linprog 10. Linprog. So you can see how it will be linprog method, how it looks like. See, you can see like this, how the linprog method looks like. Okay. First C represent the please understand students. I think you are able to see here linprog which expecting these inputs. No need, all the inputs are no need. So some inputs are required. One is the object function related information, constants related information is required. First of all, object function related information is the most important. So that is the C. C is a variable which is expecting objective function matrix. That means so C equal to what is the objective function matrix for us? OBJ. So you can give OBJ. So now I'm passing the C value here. Now I'm passing the C value here. C is nothing but it is expecting object function matrix that already we have. Next, there is A underscore UB. You can see there is A underscore UB. So now A underscore UB. So A underscore UB that is expecting coefficient matrix of inequality constraint. This is the coefficient matrix of inequality constraint. So what is the coefficient matrix of inequality constraint in our problem? Coefficient matrix for the inequality constraint?
A underscore IQ.
Perfect. So A underscore I equivalent. Now we are passing that also. Now what we are taking? B underscore UB. B underscore UB. So what we have to pass here? Constant matrix.
B underscore IQ.
B underscore. So this B underscore UB will give the constant matrix of your inequality constraint equation. So for the inequality constraint equation, this is the B underscore IEQ. Comma. That is the passing. Now it is expecting A underscore equality constraint. So that is the A underscore EQ means it is expecting coefficient matrix of equality constraint. Coefficient matrix of equality constraint. Do you have any equality constraints in our problem? No. We don't have any equality constraints in our problem. So you can simply make it as a none. NO, NE. That's it. Okay. There is no equality constraints. Comma. Now B underscore EQ, that is nothing but it will come automatically in the downward, so you can click it directly. That's equal to, so this will represent the constant matrix of your equality constraint. Constant matrix, what is the B equivalent to what is the A equivalent means? I want to write here. Suppose if we have a equality constraint like 2x plus 3y equal to 10 and 5x plus 4y equal to 20, then we can form it as a matrix form. Then it like 2, 3, 5, 4, and this is the x and y decision variables. That's equal to 10 and 20. And this coefficient matrix is A underscore EQ, and this is the B underscore EQ. And this is the decision variable matrix. So these are the we are expecting there. But in our problem, we don't have any equality constraint, right? So here we don't have any equality constraint. We have the only inequality constraints only we have. So because of that reason, I am giving the A equivalent equal to B underscore equivalent equal to none. Because we don't have any equality constraint. If we have the equality constraint, again you have to form some matrix here. For example, I'm giving, for example, I'm writing, like suppose the same problem, 2x plus 3y equal to 10. Where it is? 2x plus 3y equal to 10, 5x plus 4y equal to 20. Then you have to form in the matrix form. Now this is the coefficient matrix and this is the constant matrix for the A equivalent. For the equality constraints. So now what you have to do? You have to write one more matrix like A under, it is a variable M. You can give any variable M. A underscore AQ equal to. So what is the matrix? What we have to write here? Suppose if this is the case, then what we have to write? It is the 2, 3, 5, 4,
2,
X,
3,
Y, and 10, 20.
5, 4.
Yes. 2, 3. There is one row, and another row is 5, 4. So this is the corresponding to the equality constraint. Equality constraint. Okay. And coming to the constant matrix B equivalent, that's equal to, that is a 10, 20. That's it. This is a constant matrix. Now what you have to write? Instead of none, you have to call A equivalent here. That means A underscore EQ. That means I am passing this matrix here. Here instead of none, you have to pass B underscore equivalent here. Equality constraints are exist, then these two will be coming to picture, and this is that done actually we have to do. But where in our problem, this A equivalent, B equivalent not exist because we don't have the equality constraints. As there is no equality constraints, now you have to pass only none. Nothing is available there. You have to pass only none. And here also you have to pass. Now what else we require? We have to write. So what else we have to require? So
Boundaries.
yes, we have to pass the boundaries. So we have to pass the boundaries. That's equal to we have to pass the boundaries. Boundaries hold by the variable called the boundaries hold by the variable called boundary. So BOUN BER done. Right? Bounds, that's equal. Here it is none actually, but we have the boundaries. So that's the boundaries. Okay, done. So finally we have to call the method.
BOUNN.
So we have to call the method. We have to call the method. That method is so there is a different, as I told in the previous class. We have the different methods: simplex method, interior point method, dual simplex method. So you have to pass any one method. I'm passing the simplex method. Simplex method. So that's it. That's how we are using the linprog method or linprog function. Linprog method or linprog function in order to solve the linear optimization problem. Okay. After that, so after that, now what happened once this line was implemented? So this opt variable will hold the different parameters. One parameter is the solution, another parameter is a status. So and another parameter is the object function value. All the values it will be hold. It hold all the values. So, but what I want actually, I want the solution, right? Solution means what is the value of A, what is the value of B. That's the solution only I want actually. So how we can retrace the values? So OPT dot X means it will give the only solution. It will give the only solution. Now try to build it. You can see what will be the output. Hope.
Sir, boundary
Why?
spelling wrong.
Boundary
Yes.
spelling.
Right. Right. Now we take the see, it is giving the solution that is the 2 and 3. That means so for a client you have to give in a proper manner, right? For a client you have to give in proper manner, like number of A type chocolates. What are chocolates? That's equal to. So number of A type chocolates means this is the first one, because this my 6 and 5 represent 6 represents to A type chocolate, 5 represents to B type chocolate. You can see the problem here. The 6 is represent the A type chocolate, 5 represent the B type chocolate. So first variable represents the A type chocolate, second variable represents the B type chocolate. So that means the first parameter represents the A type chocolate, second parameter represents the B type chocolate. So I want to write here as OPT dot X. It will give the two values. It has the two values, out of which first one that is called 0 represents with the 0. So first one represents with the 0 and second one represents with the 1. Actually in the Python, index is started from the 0. Where in the MATLAB index is start from the 1 other. Okay, but here it is starts with 0. So 0th index value represents the A type chocolate, first index represents the B type chocolate. That's what I'm writing here. So number of B type chocolate, that's equal to, here I have to write the first index. First. You can execute it and you can give the complete solution. So no need to display this one. So only for understanding purpose, I'm writing this one. Otherwise, they can write. So finally, the number of A type chocolates equal to 2 and number of B type chocolates equal to, it is writing as a floating number. So you can make it round. Round means it is round off. Finally, you are giving. So the solution is coming. You are giving the solution to the what is called your client. That means the number of A-type chocolates you have to produce 2, and number of B-type chocolates you have to produce 3. Number of A-type chocolates you have to produce 2, and number of B-type chocolates you have to produce 3. Then only you will get the maximum profit. Then only you will get the maximum profit. Hope you understand, right? Anyone can tell what will be the profit he is getting. He will get maximum profit. This is the solution they are getting. You are suggesting to your client. That means, so based on your problem statement, based on your requirement, based on your constraints, so you are getting the maximum profit. If you are able to manufacture, if you are able to produce 2 number of A-type chocolate and 3 number of B-type chocolate, then only you will get the maximum profit. So what will the maximum profit?
27. 27.
37 maybe. So 2 number of A-type chocolates. For 1 unit, they are getting the profit of 6. Maybe 27, I think so. Right? For one unit of A-type chocolate, he will get the 6 rupees profit. Right? But 2 units, how much profit he will get? 2 into 6, 12. And
12.
For 1 unit of B-type chocolate, he will get the 5 rupees profit. For 3 number of chocolates, he will get 3 into 5, 12. 3 into 5, 15. So 15 plus 12, 27. So he will get the 27 rupees profit. So like that, so we are going to solve any optimization problem, linear optimization problem, we are going to solve with the these steps. That is sufficient. So it will be easy actually, but because we are using the Linprog method or Linprog function only. But if you want to directly use the simplex method, it is very hectic to write a complete Python code. So that's why we are using the Linprog function. So here we are using the simplex method as a optimization technique or linear optimization technique. We are using the linear optimization technique. So it is giving the solution as a 2 and 3. 2 number of A-type chocolates and 3 number of B-type chocolates. Once you completed the implementation part, now as I said to you, so all your assignments you have to share with me through your GitHub repository. That means now you have to push all your code or complete this Jupyter file into your GitHub repository. Okay, now implementation is completed. Finally, you are giving the solution to me, to your client. Yes, dear client. So if you are able to produce the 2 number of A-type chocolates and 3 number of B-type chocolates, you will get the maximum profit, and that maximum profit equal to 27 rupees. It's a small example I'm doing. It's fine. It's completed. A task was completed. Now, once your assignment was completed, your coding implementation is completed. Now you have to share your code as an assignment through your GitHub repository. How? So to share your code as an assignment through the GitHub repository. Now it is completed, right? Program is completed. Now what you have to do is go to File. You can see an option called Save a Copy in GitHub. Go to File, and you can see Save a Copy in GitHub. So click on that one. Now it's trying to connect to your GitHub. Yeah, I already in my computer. I already logged with the GitHub, my GitHub account. So that's why it's not asking any user ID password. Maybe it will ask for you for user ID and password, GitHub user ID password. So it will show the different repositories what I have. I have the different repositories. VBR Git, that's my file. AI repository, currency node detect repository, DLMP, something different repositories are there. Now I want to push it into the AI repository. And I want to keep the linear optimization.ipynb as a Python file. In the main branch, I want to just click on OK. Done. See, you can see here. It is coming to my repository. Now it's coming to my repository. Fine. So later, whenever I have a free time, just I will open your GitHub repository with the path which I shared with me. Now I can see this code, and if you want to execute it, I can click here and it will open the Colab again. Now I want trying to implement whether your code is right or wrong. So this is what I am doing actually. So my suggestion is, so you can do anyway. So you can do anyway. So it's solution that. So that's how you can use the Google Colab. I think you understand, right? So first of all, type Colab in your Google Chrome or Mozilla, whatever it may be. So sign in into your Google Colab using your any Gmail account, using your any Gmail account, Google account. Now, once it is open, then go to File and click on the new notebook. Then a Jupyter notebook will be opened. So in a cell, you can write your code. You can write your code and implement it. And if you are satisfied and it is executed without any error and it is showing the values, correct answers, then simply you can push this complete code into your GitHub. And once I have a free time, just I will open your GitHub repository with the path that you shared. And then I will click on that one and I will open your GitHub repository and as well as your Colab, and I will try to execute it. So that's what you have to do. Hope you understand how we are using the linprog method or linprog function to solve the linear optimization problem. So already I have shared one assignment. I have shared one assignment in the Slack based on linear optimization. Based on linear optimization, already I have shared one assignment. So try to solve that assignment and on your favorite ID, whatever it may be. Just I'm using the Google Colab, which is favorite for me. So you can use any other Python ID, and you can. This is the problem actually. This is the assignment one. This is the problem. So try to read the problem carefully and develop a mathematical modeling. Once the mathematical modeling is developed, try to identify your objective coefficient matrix, inequality coefficient matrix, inequality constant matrix, and in your problem, if there is any equality constraints, so you have to develop the coefficient matrix for your equality constraints as well as constant matrix for your equality constraints, and also prepare the boundaries. And now use the implementation like this. You have to start the implementation. So try to do as your own and don't try to copy code from your friends and don't share with me through the repository with the copy codes. If you don't understand, so try to ask your friend, try to clarify your doubts and try to do yourself. Not try to copy the code. It is very simple. It will not take the much time as well. Okay, so this is the thing you have to do as an assignment and you have to complete it by the next coming Sunday. So you have to submit it by 1st 8 2021 on or before 1st 8 2021. So friends, this is about the linear optimization problem. So what mean by the optimization problem? What means the linear optimization problem? What are the different parts of the linear optimization problem? How we can develop a mathematical modeling based on the requirements given by your client. Once the mathematical model is ready, then how we can develop a matrix information, and using this matrix information, how you write the code in the Python and how we implement it, how we can share that code in the GitHub, and everything I have explained. Hope you understand the complete concept, and I think you are confident to solve the linear optimization problem, the real-time problems by using the Python environment, using the linprog method or linprog function. Hope you understand this. Fine, friends. Now we have 20 more minutes. Now we move to the non-linear optimization problem. Now we are going to discuss about the non-linear optimization problem. Till now we discussed about the non-linear optimization problem. So non-linear optimization problem. Non-linear optimization problem. Now what mean by the non-linear optimization problem? So I want to share my PPT with you now. So the main fundamental thing in the nonlinear optimization problem is, once you develop a mathematical model based on the requirements of your client, if your objective functions are not linear in terms of your decision variables, it's a non-linear in terms of the decision variables. It's a non-linear function. It is a non-linear function of your decision variables. If that is the case, such type of optimization problem is called as non-linear optimization problem. Such type of optimization problem is called as the non-linear optimization problem. This PPT already I shared with you. That means your objective function, your objective function must be a non-linear function in terms of your decision variables. In terms of your decision variables. See, objective function is non-linear. Objective function should be a non-linear, and the constraints, if they exist, or may be linear or non-linear. Understood? So it must be mandate. See, your objective function is a non-linear, and the constraints, if they exist, are may be linear or non-linear. That may be a linear function of your decision variables or non-linear function of your decision variables. Your constraints may be linear function of your decision variables or non-linear function of decision variables, whatever it may be. But your objective function, should be a non-linear function. Your objective function should be non-linear function. So how it will be looks like? See, minimize f of x comma y equal to x cube y square x plus 1, like that. It is a non-linear function. It is not a linear function of your variables. Here, what are the decision variables? I have the two decision variables. One is called x, another is called y. I have the two decision variables x and y. And now my object function is a non-linear function of my decision variables. Non-linear function of my decision variables. Then such type of optimization problem is called as the non-linear optimization problem. Non-linear optimization problem. And whereas this is the inequality constraint, and this is the equality constraint, and this is the boundaries. So whatever may be the optimization problem, whether it is a linear optimization problem or non-linear optimization problem. So every optimization problem must have one objective function, that is the mandatory, and an optional constraints, either inequality constraints or equality constraints, and also we have the boundaries or limits for your decision variables. So an object optimization problem is said to be a non-linear optimization problem if your objective function is a non-linear function of your decision variables. Non-linear function of your decision variables. In the previous case, your objective function is a 6a plus 5b. It's a linear function of your decision variables a and b. But here, your objective function is the x cube plus y square plus x plus 1. It is a non-linear function of your decision variables x and y. So your objective function is a non-linear function of your decision variables. Non-linear function of your decision variables, then such type of optimization problem is called as non-linear optimization problem. I hope you understand. I hope it's clear with you. So what mean by the non-linear optimization problem? So the non-linear optimization problem, your objective function should be non-linear function of your decision variables x, y, so on. So non-linear function of your decision variables. Whereas constraints, if exist, so constraints are optional. As I said, all constraints are optional. For your problem, they may exist, may not exist. If they exist, that constraints may be non-linear or linear function of your x, y, so on your decision variables. So, but your objective function must be non-linear function of your decision variables. Non-linear function of your decision variables. Then such type of optimization problems called as a non-linear optimization problem. Non-linear optimization problem. Okay. Yeah. Now, see students, now you have to, I hope you are clear with respect to the what mean by the non-linear optimization problem. Okay. Now, our machine learning problems are mostly related to your non-linear optimization problems only. It is related to the non-linear optimization problem. So then why you may ask, why sir we discussed it till now about the linear optimization problem. So we have to understand. We have to understand what mean by the linear optimization, what mean by the non-linear optimization. Real-time applications also there for the linear optimization problem, but I'm saying that for the machine learning perspective, we require the non-linear optimization. But if you go directly non-linear optimization problem, it is not good. That's why I start with the linear optimization problem. So maybe you don't think that we discussed linear optimization problem unnecessarily. Don't think like that. There is a real-time application as we discussed it. There is a real-time applications related to the linear optimization problem as well. But if the problem related to the machine learning, then it comes under the non-linear optimization problem. Now we focus much on the non-linear optimization problem, and I hope you are clear with the what mean by the non-linear optimization problem and what are the requirements, what are the conditions for a non-linear optimization problem. The main condition, primary requirement is if your objective function should be a non-linear function of your decision variables. Non-linear function of your decision variables. Your objective function should be non-linear function of your decision variables. That's it. Now, coming to further, in a non-linear optimization problem, your objective function may have multiple optimal points. That means it is a non-linear optimization problem, right? So non-linear optimization problem means if you plot your function f of x something with respect to your decision variable x, this is the x-axis represents your variation of your decision variable x, and your y-axis represents your function f of x. If it is a highly non-linear, then your function may be varying like this. Your function will be varying like this. It may have the multiple optimal points. So one optimal point, this is the one bottom point, this is also one optimal point, this is the one optimal point, this is the one optimal point, and this is the one optimal point. It's the local minimum point. It's called as the local minimum points. We have the multiple local minimum points. I want to once again, because you have to understand this one. Because if you are unable to understand this concept, it's very difficult to understand the that machine learning optimization completely. So, as I said, if we are dealing with the non-linear optimization problem, your objective function should be a completely non-linear function of your decision variable. So, if your function is a non-linear function with respect to your decision variable, if you draw the plot, then it will be like this. May have the multiple optimal points or multiple minimum points. Multiple optimal points and multiple minimum points. That means here we have the minimum value for the function, and here also we have the one minimum value, and here also one minimum value, and here also one minimum value. And coming to here, we have the one maximum value, and here we have the one maximum value, and here we have the one maximum value, and here we have the another maximum value. Okay. Suppose if your objective is minimize f of x, if your objective is minimize f of x, that means your objective function is a minimum here, your objective function is a minimum here, your objective function is a minimum here, and your objective function is minimum here. Out of all the minimum points, which is the lowest value, so that point is called as the global optimum point. That optimum point is called as the global optimum point, and remaining optimal points are called as the local optimum points. That means when you are dealing with the non-linear optimization problem, means your objective function is non-linear function of your decision variables x or x, y, z, whatever it may be. If you draw a plot of your objective function against your decision variables, then your objective function may have a multiple local minimum points or multiple local optimum points. That may be a optimum minimum or maximum. So multiple points they may have. Out of all the local optimal points, you have to identify which is the minimum if you are dealing with the minimization problem. Or if you have the multiple optimal local maximum points, you have to find what is the maximum among that. That's called the global maximum. That means, suppose if you are dealing with the minimization, then you have to find this is the one local minimum, this is the one local minimum, this is the local minimum, this is the local minimum. Out of all the 4 local minimums, which is the minimum value? This is the minimum value. Now it is called as the global minimum. This is what we have to calculate. This is the point where your complete function will be minimum. This is the point where your complete function will be minimum. So this function is called the global point. Suppose if you are dealing with the maximization problem, now you have to identify. So this is the one local optimum point, maximum point. This is the another local maximum point, and this is the another local maximum point. Out of which is the maximum? So this is the maximum. So this is called the global maximum point or global optimum point. Optimum means that may be either minimum or maximum. So you have to identify this point. So if it is a maximization problem, you have to identify this point, or if it is a minimization problem, you have to find this point. It's not similar to your linear optimization problem. Okay, so it is somewhat complex. It was somewhat complex. You have the multiple local minimum points and multiple local maximum points. And out of available local minimum points, you have to identify which is the minimum among all. That is called the global minimum. That means at this point of x, I am getting the minimum value of the objective function. At this point of x, I am getting the minimum value of the objective function. Okay, I hope as of up to now, you may understand. So what mean by the local minimum or local optimum? What mean by the global minimum or global optimum? So in a non-linear optimization problem, you have the maybe multiple points may have. You may have the multiple points. You may have the multiple minimum points, out of which you have to find a perfect minimum point, which is the least among all available. So that is the called global minimum. That global minimum, you have to find it. You have to find it. Of course, in our machine learning case, we are dealing with the only convex type functions. We are dealing with the convex type functions. In machine learning, we are trying to minimize some error function. We are trying to minimize the error function. That error function is like a convex function. Our error function is a convex function. Whatever may be the machine learning approach you consider, you may consider artificial neural networks for the regression problem. We are consider the mean square error as an objective function. If you consider the binary classification problem, we considered binary cross entropy as a loss function. If you consider multiple class classification problem, we consider categorical cross entropy as a loss function. So whatever may be the loss function or whatever may be the objective function we considered in machine learning approaches, those objective functions are the convex functions. Those objective functions are the convex functions. I hope you understand it. So in the previous class, I separated the real-time problems into the 3 clusters. Like either it may be a regression problem, or it may be a binary classification problem, or it may be a categorical cross entropy problem. So which type of problem it is? But the loss function, that we consider for that problem is a convex function. So what I want to mean is the loss functions which we considered in machine learning are convex functions. In case of the regression problem, we considered mean square error. In case of the binary classification problem, we considered binary cross entropy loss function. If you take the multiple classification problem, that we categorical cross entropy. So whatever may be the type of loss function you considered, so this is like a convex function. That means your objective function is a convex function. Why I can call it a convex function? How the convex function looks like? So your convex function looks like. Suppose f of x is your objective function and x is the decision variable. When the x is varying, your objective function is varying like this, like a bowl. So this type of functions are called as the convex functions. That means, I hope you understand, right? If it is an objective function, it is your objective function. And you are trying to minimize this objective function. And your objective function is varying with respect to your decision variable x like this. Now I am trying to minimize this function. Minimize this function means the function finding the value of x at which my function will be minimum. That is the process. And this type of function is called as the convex function. Okay, friends. So in detail, we will discuss in the next class. I hope from this class, what I am expecting is, hope you understand how we can implement linear optimization problem in the Python environment, how you can post the complete implementation code in the GitHub repository. And later, you may understand what mean by the non-linear optimization? What are the primary requirements in case of the non-linear optimization? So what are the main conditions, main criteria to justify this optimization problem is a non-linear optimization problem? Anyone can respond, students? What are the main criteria that we considered to decide whether this problem, this optimization problem is a non-linear optimization problem or not? Students, anyone can respond? What is the main criteria we considered whether the given
Decision
optimization problem
variable.
is a non-linear optimization problem or not? Please.
Decision variable.
Objective
Yes.
function should be non-linear
Yes.
function of decision.
Perfect. So your objective function should be a non-linear function in terms of your decision variables. So by seeing your objective function, you may decide whether I have to go to the linear optimization problem approach or I have to go to the non-linear optimization problem approach. Non-linear optimization problem approach. Okay. So if your objective function is a non-linear, it is a highly non-linear, then it may have the multiple optimum points. Multiple optimum means multiple minimum points and multiple maximum points. And you have to identify which is the minimum or which is the maximum. That is the optimization process actually. But in case of the machine learning perspective, so where we use this machine learning, this optimization in the machine learning, I will going to explain later. But in the machine learning perspective, in the machine learning, we are trying to minimize your error. We are trying to minimize the error. That error may be a mean square error. That error may be a binary cross entropy error. That error may be a categorical cross entropy error. Whatever we considered in a machine learning approach, that error is a convex function. That error is a convex function. We are trying to minimize that error. We are trying to minimize that error, and that error function is a convex function. That means that error function is varying with respect to your decision variables like a bowl shape, Friends, can you tell me, do you think this function is a linear function? No. If it is a linear function, then it will be like this only. If the linear character will be like this only. If it is a linear function, but your function is like this. Your function is like this. Whether you can take a mean square error, or you can take a binary cross entropy, or you can take a categorical cross entropy, it will be like this. It will be like this, bowl shape. It is not a linear. Your object function is not a linear in terms of your x. You can't write any linear equation that satisfies this curve. So that's why it's a non-linear equation. So your object is a non-linear objective. That's why it's a non-linear optimization problem. Okay, so it is a non-linear function of your decision variable x. Non-linear function of your decision variable x. But not a complete high non-linear. If it is a complete high non-linear, then it has a multiple optimum points. We are lucky. In that case, we are lucky here. So here, the regression we are considered, it will be a convex function. It is a convex function. Okay. So one more question I want to ask you. Suppose if your objective function, if your error function is a convex function, then I can say that you can say whether it is a true or false. I'm giving one statement. You can say whether the statement is true or false. My statement is, if your objective function is a convex function, then your global optimum is not equal to local optimum. Your global optimum is not equal to local optimum. Is the statement is true or false?
False.
It's a false. Why?
Both are same, only one global optimum and local.
Very good. Perfect. In a convex function, we have the only dip, only one minimum point. That will be the local minimum, that will be the global minimum. There's not multiple minimum points. If there is a multiple minimum points, all those minimum points are called as the local minimum, out of which is the minimum, that is called the global minimum. But in the convex function, we have the only one minimum point, that is also local minimum, except it is called as the global minimum point. Okay, that means suppose if your objective function is a convex function, so clearly understand, students, If not, I will start with again in the next class as well, but try to understand. If your function, object function is the function which you are going to minimize. The function which you are going to minimize, that object function is a convex function in terms of your decision variable. If it is a convex function, definitely it is not a linear in terms of your decision variables. Definitely it is a non-linear in terms of your decision variable. In such scenario, which optimization you are going to use? Or you want to use the linear optimization problem, or you want to use the non-linear optimization problem? For example, you have an objective function and you are drawing a plot against its decision variable. It is showing a convex function. Like this. If it is showing a convex function characteristics, then tell me, friends, are you want to use linear optimization method or non-linear optimization method to find this optimum point?
Non-linear.
We have to use the non-linear optimization techniques we have to apply. Non-linear optimization techniques we have to apply to find this solution, to find this point. To find this point, we have to use the non-linear optimization technique if your objective function is a convex function. You have to remember that. You have to use non-linear optimization techniques if you want to find this minimum point of your objective function, if your objective function is a convex function. So one of the most prominent method of non-linear optimization problem is the GDA, gradient descent algorithm. In the previous case, we discussed about the linear programming, right? Now we are going to discuss about the non-linear programming. How the gradient descent algorithm will help to find that minimum point, optimum point for a non-linear optimization problem. For a non-linear optimization problem. Hello?
Sir, time is completed, sir.
Oh, sorry. So I want to stop here now. In the next class, we are going to discuss about how we use the gradient descent algorithm to solve the non-linear optimization problems. So don't leave, students. I'm going to download your attendance report. After that, I will inform you can leave. So try to submit your assignment before Sunday, as I informed in the Slack. Yeah, thank you very much, students. You can leave now. Thank you.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Please.
After uploading to GitHub, should we type any messages in Slack, sir?
No, not required. Just do your work. That's it. I will take care of the rest of things. Huh? Just
Okay.
upload in the GitHub repository. That's enough. Whenever I have the free time, just I will open your GitHub repository through the path which you shared with me already, and I will evaluate that code.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Is it okay, Naman? Is it fine?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, fine. Thank you very much. So if no questions, and you can leave now. Thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.